What's up, everybody? This is SOS Rampages, and we are doing a little bit something different over here. We are going to be leaning into the Friday the 13th, the spooky, scary nature of all things. And so we can get some, recording in as well of the different things that we've been watching lately, trying to get some different perspectives and all that good stuff. Names down there, and you get all the videos on the side. Catch me on, the Twitch at that SOS Rampages handle and all that good stuff. But that's not even the important thing, because y'all know who I am. Now we got to introduce who else is here down below me over there that's trying to not look at the camera. I had to hold my earballs.
Listen, it was loud, okay? Yeah, I'm Kitten, or as most of my handles are, as Toodles, and yeah, we be here. We be watching scary things, and yeah.
Where else can people find this Kitten / Toodles person? What else do you do?
Kitten on ExoKitten97XO on Twitch, and then Toodles0720 on TikTok. And yeah, I feel like that's really all these socials that I'm on.
That's good enough, That wasn't as painful as you thought it was going to be, was it?
I hated every second of it.
Yeah, I want to leave now. Bye.
Anyway.
Anyways, we are going to be starting off, and you can also check us out. We're doing this live, like I said, on Twitch and on YouTube right now for myself, as well as her Twitch right now. You can get her perspective and everything from that side of things as well. But we are going to be discussing to start the movie Ma. It's very weird, even having to look up / talk about it because of just the one word, it just being Ma, and everybody's like, oh yeah, no, the movie Ma, or you just looking for your Ma, why you
the
just
mom in the
Ma?
movie. I'm
when you even have to talk about it, you have to really specify it. I hope your week went well as well, Cat, too. Like I said, we also got the live chat that I'll be pulling at least up on my side. If at some point we can connect chats, we will. But, it can be a little bit hectic as far as the connection side of things when we try to do that. So, first off, how did you like the movie? A lot of these things we've been, using Netflix for different streaming devices, as most people do in this day and age.
I mean, overall, I definitely would watch it again. I think the concept, I wouldn't say is original, but it definitely has a few original twists to it.
I definitely think it does have a fun concept to it, but like I said, and this goes to kind of where we're going to launch off with the second part of what we're going to talk about, is kind of, I got a little bit of a Misery vibe from it, a tiny bit, but really trying to go after a younger generation and trying to fulfill what she missed out in her youth, I guess, instead, and really having that revenge aspect and having a lot. One big, I guess, caveat that I could say they could have really focused in on. There was a lot going on. There was a lot to take in as far as the backstory, the revenge plot, as well,
yeah.
Her trying to have the daughter situation. It was a lot, and you could tell they wanted to expand, which, I mean, spoiler alert as well, they are looking to do Ma too, and I mean, she was living and walking, doing the Michael Myers thing, walking at the end through the fire as she was laying down next to Mans.
Right. With with her daughter, that gave Gypsy Rose Blanchard vibes for me, or you mentioned Carrie. So that aspect is what I meaning as it's not necessarily an original idea. And then I just feel like the vengeance story is very typical for like you said on Michael Myers. It's, well, he's just gonna go after everybody that wronged him in his past and fuck them the best that they can. So, and that's kind of what she's doing,
Yes, that movie was fucked up. It's 100% like that describes it the best way as far as like and you can kind of get the allusions to it early on that it's gonna take some darker twists and turns, and I mean going into as well kind of the actors and actresses. I mean, you could tell Octavia Spencer really had a good time, had fun with it, like with
I don't know
mannerisms and like you could tell it generally seemed like she was in the character and very because in her like she doesn't do these kind of characters very often. As far as like I want to say this was the first time she really went dark as far as like a evil villain character, and it was probably very fun to go on the shoe on the other foot with it. And I mean the rest of the cast was like I'm a bigger fan of horror movies that try to use younger talent that we don't know as opposed to ones that lean into ones that we do know, because I want to see them use their own personality and I don't want to see and associate them to another movie, if that makes sense. Like I don't want to associate someone that I've seen somewhere else and have any sort of connotations of the other role that they might have played make it any different, if that makes sense.
I don't know Octavius. Like, I know of her. I can't say I know what she's from. I didn't really know anybody besides, I think it's Luke Perry, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the only one that I could point out of a lineup and say, yeah, that's them. So, as far as the talent and what they rate, I mean, they definitely are, I feel, newer actors and actresses for the most part. Like they definitely have some more growth to them, but they have a lot of potential. 100%.
I have not seen Hidden Figures. I've heard it's good. I know she was in it. I've not seen it. I mean, but you had also said that you hadn't seen Juliette Lewis before, and that blew my mind because Juliette Lewis has been in a lot.
That was the mom, right?
Yeah, that was the other mom.
What's me? Thank you so much for the check-in. Thank you for the lurk. I appreciate it.
I mean, now you've seen her in Yellow Jackets a little bit now, which we'll talk about later. But like she's also been an actress around for a while. So I mean, they kind of use the parents as like the major names to try to bring people in.
I suppose.
But as far as the aesthetics, as far as like the town and the the music and everything, how did you feel? I kind of liked it being a smaller, quaint little town. The house itself was kind of confusing to me, if that made sense. Like it seemed like they were in a small town, but like her cabin was like in a place that was kind of off, but it wasn't off out there. It was very in between. Like it seemed like you could get there, but it was also off the beaten track.
Yeah, I would say it wasn't just like right in town. It was more so like kind of off the track a little bit. But she did have neighbors because it was Luke Evans, by the way, not Luke Perry.
It's okay.
But she did have neighbors because at one of the times they called and complained about one of the parties being too loud.
That's right. She did have the neighbors, but it also like that end scene, and this also was very misery like of like when she just like killed the cop just right there, and it's like, oh, okay. She must not have that close of neighbors listening that, or maybe they're at work or whatever, because that was just like I just always assume in this day and age, anytime like a police officer is killed, like some sort of siren / goes off, something. I know it's doesn't work like that, but I just assume like it's like GTA.
Automatically, like the heartbeat stops.
You get 4 stars or 3 stars immediately when you kill a police officer. Like you're automatically on.
Life is not like that. Don't do that, guys.
What is your most memorable scene / scariest scene from the movie? Would you say?
I don't know if it would. I think the most memorable is probably like when she has the kids in the basement and like she's doing each individual thing. Like
I'm a sucker for a good booby trap and a good like setup like that. I'm a sucker for all the setup and all the like Saul is like it gets gruesome and weird towards the end, but like all that stuff is just like
right up your alley.
I want to see the different ways that people can think, and especially if they personalize it to the different people, which she did with like so in the one chick's mouth that wouldn't stop talking.
Yeah. And she wanted to be the only black friend, so she gave him a white face instead of a black face, and yeah.
It was very well thought out. Since you took that one, I mean, I have to take then the dad. Man's got. I mean, he was a piece of shit, but like, man's basically kind of got castrated and then blood fed into him to keep him alive for
blood fed from his
dog,
his ex girlfriend from high school's, I think, dog, because it was the mom's dog. It was the mom's dog.
Yeah, so it is as a whole, as a male, anything that does that, it's just
that's a no for me, dog.
It's a big no for me, dog. Like, once again, couldn't happen to a better guy, but like,
better him than me.
Also, little caveats that, like, if we're talking about questionable things, and this isn't like popular scenes because we just did that and everything, because we could just kind of before we wrap things up and everything. The relationship she had with the son of his son, weird, really weird, and it wasn't.
So it's very weird, but it makes so much sense because if she's still stuck in that mindset of being in high school and like still like obsessive over him and like being like seeing his son who looks just like him has heated in the day, like that could trigger.
Yes, on her end, from the 60, like his end, I know some of it was him trying to play it up. I know some of it like he felt bad, but like, I don't know, man.
I mean, he definitely played into it. Like during the scene, like that on the couch before they took the picture, he played into it because, or maybe it was after. I don't remember, but it was that scene. He played into it because he was trying to let the main girl get untied, and like he was trying to be a distraction.
Right. What would be your overall grade and thoughts of like out of 10? What are you thinking, and what are your lasting thoughts and things that you want to throw out there as far as like any last little ducats of information?
Overall, out of 10, I think I probably would go 7.5.
Okay. Ducats of information, what they could have done better to make it higher than a 7.5, what they did to get it to a 7.5, like what?
It just kind of felt all over the place at times, like you said. Like I didn't understand at times if like we were in the present or if we were back, like a flashback, so I just think like it had a lot going on all at once, like you said, like the daughter, the in between of like going from present day to past to just a lot, and
Yeah. Good job.
Thanks.
I would say give it like a 6 for me, maybe like a 6.5, like you were saying, leaning towards the proper side. I got what they were trying to do in a way, but I think it could have been done a little bit better. Like you said, there was a little confusion whether it was past or present. There was a lot of storylines they were trying to touch on where I feel like they could have condensed it down a little bit. The story arc that they kind of built, they could have built in a different way than they did. It was really kind of felt rushed towards the end. It felt like a lot of a compilation of them partying in the basement. And then we got to a point where like a little sus things would happen at each party. And then there wasn't much, felt like character building as to why these children would have kept going as long as they had after any of the sus stuff. Like, I mean, she pulled a gun on man's like night one and was like, that's enough for me. But also like the mass texting like over and over again. Like, I work with enough teenagers to know they don't play that. The minute that you start texting them multiple times, they don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know. That's where it
Yeah,
kind of
that
lost that believability.
I feel if they were gonna have the parents and the children, it should have been two kids, and then you'd have the parents, and that's a total of four. Then that's four stories that you're following instead of you have four kids right here plus the other girl, so that's five children, which has all different parents that you're following. It's just a lot.
And I also just feel like you had said with the daughter, I think the Gypsy Rose stuff that was unnecessary. Like there was not any time really devoted to that. It was just kind of like a side story of like, hey, she's there too. Like she's this crazy that she'll do this to her daughter. Like that was basically the concept of why that was a thing. Felt like, and to also help them, through it at the end. But I feel like they could have, if that's where they wanted to go with it, divulged into it more as to why you had to put the pieces together yourself and figure out like, oh, she doesn't want her daughter to go through what she went through, so she did this kind of idea. But they didn't really vocalize that or show the
Honestly,
start
that
as to
that didn't even cross my mind. So,
like it would have been all they would have really needed to do was to show her daughter getting bullied one time when she was little, or like right now actively, and then that would have given her the reason of like, all right, this is why.
The only thing that they did show was her the one time at the school, and the main girl helped her.
Yes. So, but overall, I mean, it was good. I think that, and I also, I know, I'm sure most studios didn't think this way with a lot of different horror villains, but like, she's not Michael Myers. She's not like, I don't want to see her keep coming back through fire and brimstone and. Some things are good as one-offs. And if you wanted to do Ma 2, you could do Ma 2 with a different Ma. Like, you don't have to do the same. Like
a copycat instead.
Like a copycat or like the same concept. Like, use the concept going forward of like, because this is a thing. This is an idea of adults wanting to relive their youth, relive it better than they had it before.
Or even like they could even go a darker route, because like that is a thing. Like there could be a pedophile that does that. You know what I mean? Like as raunchy as it is to say, like it is something that happens.
Yes.
Like it's something that happens that a lot of movies don't necessarily touch on, but like it's to me that's more scary than this is scary that crazy lady's going batshit and like torturing children and like kidnapping them and whatnot, but like to touch base on like a pedo and like that's doing this, like throwing parties in their basement and supplying alcohol to minors, like that's terrifying. Right. Thirsty, thank you so much for the resubby. Hopefully you are doing well.
Any last words on this before we cut this video?
Well, I'd watch it again.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely, I think it just left Netflix, but I'm sure usually how streaming services work is the minute that it leaves one will pick it up somewhere.
Especially if there's talks of a second one.
Yes. If I'm almost positive, I'm going to, do it. As you do your little send-off, so where can people find you and stuff like that?
Ugh. Yeah, so you can find me on TikTok at the name below my little face here. Or you can find me on Twitch at exokitten97xo. And
yeah, I just looked it up. It is highly anticipated sequel looking October 31st, 2025. So spoopy time this year. So it will be fun to, watch that and see where they kind of go with it. It looks like they have a bigger budget. It looks like, as Scream always says, or especially Scream 2, you come back with a bigger budget, more kills, more everything. So we'll see how they go with it and see.
There could be multiple Moths.
Multiple Moths at this point, who knows? But yeah, you can find me at the SOS Rampages handle on Twitch, on this YouTube. You can see all those YouTube videos on the side and all that good stuff. As we're about to start cutting the next one as far as go into Talk to Me next. So, yeah. All right, so that one's cut. You hated every minute of it, I could tell.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. So what are we doing now?
Talk to me.
You're gonna wrench my ears again, aren't you?
Yes. I figure we did the 2 movies, and then we'll do the series, and then yeah, 2 movies, break, series. This one will be like 21. Alrighty. Is you ready?
Yeah, I suppose. Watch your earballs, guys. Watch your earballs.
Does it affect the stream too that bad? I did not know.
It's loud, and it just hears what I hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. What's up, everybody? This is SOS Rampages back at you with another review on the spooky, scary Friday the 13th day, and trying to get our horror on and trying to get, some different reactions, reviews of the different things that we've been watching lately, and trying to get that out there for the people, especially when we have sequels of things coming out and different things that are, still running and all that good stuff. Stop rambling over here. I'm, SOS Rampage. You see me down there. You can see all my videos on the side and check them out.
Go do it
on Twitch and on TikTok, all that good stuff. The evil, scary voice at the bottom is.
Hey, hi, hello. I am Toodles, or XO Kitten 97XO. You can find me on Twitch with Kitten or TikTok with the name down below.
Yes, and we are both live on Twitch right now, so you'll be getting the comments, as we go along. So that's also where we're talking to different people, doing all this stuff and things. So if you want to catch live recordings, you can catch live recordings as well, and you can just catch our gameplay mostly. But we do this on, occasion. Sometimes it's the first time we've run into things like that. But she doesn't seem to hate it too bad.
Anyways.
How was Talk to Me? What you think? How you feel?
It was better than I anticipated. I didn't have high hopes because I feel like newer movies that try to do paranormal, it's always through like a POV, or I get like a Blair Witch Paranormal Activities, and it's good for a little bit, and then I feel like it's overdone, and I feel like we're past the overdone part. So I was expecting shit quality. I can't lie. So I'm highly pleased.
Damn. I can also out myself here. I'm not the biggest fan of foreign movies, and this is an Australian movie, and it definitely is very, very good as far as, I look at it as like, yes, that paranormal, and it definitely does have that paranormal aspect to it, but they definitely did it in a different way where it definitely was a lot more of that scary aspect. It wasn't just ghosties. It was, they were being very much so haunted. It's the physical aspect gave it much more of a, and
it's literally, it's a spirit and or spirits that have latched on to the people that touched said hand.
And it's also the idea, at least for me, and this is, we go back to us playing Phasmophobia lately, of there's something to be said about them being able to trigger it, and knowing exactly, like, oh, the ghost is doing this right now. Like, when they're doing the hand thing, like, when they're sitting in the circle doing all that, like, that's
having it timed.
Like, that makes it more. Whereas, like, later on when they're, like, doing the spooky stuff, that felt like a normal paranormal movie of, like, all right, it's scary, but, like, it's not when they could trigger it, and when they're doing it themselves, it gave it that extra, I feel like, aspect of scary.
I feel like it really honed in on the anticipation of not knowing what was going to be on the other side because it was different every single time. Um, so it gave the excitement of what's going to be there. What am I going to see? What's going to be on the other side of the camera once it's panned around? And I think that is an excitement that, or like a suspense that we don't always get with paranormal. Like the suspense that we get with paranormal is, oh, they flickered the light switches, or like the stuff that you do get in Phasmophobia, like you hear the doors creaking or the floorboard or whatever, the power goes out, and it's just this was more on, I feel like, a mental level than a physical. Like it was more personal than environmental.
Definitely. What would you compare it to?
I don't even know.
I have one, and you're gonna definitely need to help me out with this because I'm pretty sure I don't know exactly what I'm remembering, but I'm remembering something. It's Harry Potter. What is
Okay.
it was in Prisoner of Azkaban. He brings out and it individualized themselves to the fears of them. It wasn't I keep thinking Dementor, but it's not a Dementor. This is killing me right now.
Here, Google is a really great. What what movie do you think it was?
Prisoner of Azkaban. Are you Googling as well?
Yeah.
Let's see who can find it first.
The thing is, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, so
I don't either. I feel like
what
somebody's
your
gonna
words.
help us out in the comments.
A
A
Bogart.
Bogart. Yes,
I found
Bogart.
it first.
I found it at the same time, and
I said
I'm
it
pretty
first.
sure I said it at the same time. I don't want to hear
I said it first.
Yeah.
Chat, who said it first?
But a Bogart is that's what it kind of reminded me of every time they would touch the hand, it was very personalized to them and their fear of eventually sometimes it was just random, but eventually they started tapping into like individualizing the people's fears and what they needed to see. And it's almost like it got smart of like, we'll give you some randoms to start, and then we're learning you. The more that you come to us, the more that you use the hand, we learn you.
I think that it definitely is random, and the more that they abused it, the more that the hand like started to remember, the spirit started to like attach themselves. Especially when they went longer than the timer required or that they were supposed to. Because the boy, like her best friend's brother, when he did it, it was his first time, and it latched onto her mother's spirit. So like he hadn't touched it before, so there was no way that it would have. I mean, yes, she was in the room, but she wasn't touching the hand at the time. If that makes sense.
Right. I think it was also that idea of like, I think they knew each other before. I think the families knew each other, and I do think that he knew about the situation possibly and had it in the back of his mind and everything of like, especially I think they had like talked, if I'm not mistaken, like the night before, like when they were laying in bed about the situation a little bit. So maybe it was like prevalent on his mind, and that's why he leaned into it. But I do get what you're saying with it. As far as like the actors and actresses, they're from Australia, so we don't really. I mean, I don't know any of them like that. I would be cool seeing them again. I mean, they all played their roles.
Great job. She's an amazing actor. I mean, I don't think we'll be seeing her. I mean, we could be seeing her again in the movies, technically speaking, but
I mean, there is a Talk to Me too, so we're definitely gonna be seeing her again. But
I just meant because she. But then I'm like, actually, that's the whole point of the. I forgot that was the whole point.
Yeah, so we get to see all of them again.
Yeah. Accents are great.
I mean, as far as like the main, the other like the best friend was, you know, she did her role fine. The dude was kind of meh. He could have been better. the boyfriend that was kind of like that was a weird dynamic that I don't know if they ever really like. That was another one of those things like we talked about with Ma, was like that weird dynamic of like the thruple thing that they kind of had going on, where she had dated the dude before, but also like would outright say to her best friend, like, hey, you trying to let him smash like right now, like let's go, like I know he's your boyfriend, but like let's smash, let's do it.
Yeah,
like,
the one that ended up like dry humping the air.
Mm-hmm.
Awkward.
So like that's what I was saying, it was awkward, but it was also like that. I don't know if they wanted to dive into it more. I don't know if there was supposed to be more to it, but it just made his character.
I think it was just supposed to like cause the tension and make it so when she started, because I think about it, if her and her best friend were close and she came to her saying all these wackadoodle things, she'd be more likely to lean in and be like, okay, like what's going on? Tell me more. But because there was this wedge drive between them, she was more apprehensive to believe her, and like she was like, no, you're just looking for attention, you're going crazy, you've done enough damage, yada yada yada, you've already fucked my brother. Like it just added more tension to everything.
Right. I would say like definitely instead of like the aesthetics and the music and background and stuff, I would say definitely the changeovers of the different paranormals that would come out and the different ways they were able to portray them and the different ways,
the different stories,
the different stories, the different effects that they were able to do with it, that just seemed very, and from my understanding, I mean, it's not a huge high budget movie, and it seemed, I could be wrong on this, it seemed like a lot more of actual effects than CGI. It seemed like they were physically doing a lot more than they were doing CGI work. It seemed like, and which I kind of prefer a little bit more, but
yes, I do think that a lot of things,
a lot more practical effects than
words. I think a lot of things are like very animated or CGI special effect heavy anymore, and it's because everyone's lazy. But again, this is an Australian movie, so it's completely different. So you have people that are willing to actually put in the work and like do stunts and like do things for a low budget and not crazy bombardic work. And I think it turned out really fucking well.
Yeah. As far as your scariest scene / most memorable scene, what you got?
I would go most memorable. I don't know if I have a scariest. I can't say that I was actually scared throughout this movie. Like, there was very suspenseful, but I can't say that I was actually scared. The most memorable for me probably would be when the little brother got possessed and just started kind of like literally beating himself senseless. And just like seeing him like hit his head on the corner of the fireplace, and then like seeing his sister's hand go in and just like her hand getting mangled because it's just there's all the force behind it, I think that's yeah.
I said this while watching, and I put point of contention out there of they kept, and I get the storyline aspect of it, and I get they had to do this for the storyline, but like, if Mans wanted to go touch that hand, Mans would have gone and touched that hand. He did not need permission from Homegirl to go touch that. And the dudes did it too. The dudes were like the ones that had the hand that were running it were like, yeah, you need to go get permission. You're letting people just grab a random paranormal hand and get like, where is these moral ethics? Where is this
because of the age, I think.
Weren't they asking his friend to do it, and his friend was like, no, I ain't doing it.
Because his friend was also like smoking cigarettes, and he was a delinquent. Like,
it's just I didn't get the moral compass that just showed up all of a sudden. Maybe they just didn't want his sister to like beat their ass. I
think, and that could be it because she had already said no and made her stance on like, I don't want him to do this.
So, but like I said, I get it it made her more detestable, more, angry at her about the situation. The only other, the big, I like as far as like it's the big reveal at the end is kind of nice as far as like the full circleness of everything and just how you know, it makes sense now. Like all of it kind of makes sense of like it traps you in a way of like that's you know you're if you had died before and you know it was you were showing up. If you died because of the hand, you definitely gonna be in that hand. You gonna be one of the main people in said hand. So like,
right.
I like that aspect as well as like the little ending which once again just felt yes, but also could have been done differently with that the whole her being able to escape with him out in the wheelchair and like get all the way out to where she got to, as well as like how it all transpired as far as like she must have really zoned out for a second with him right there, like for a hot minute for a homegirl to be able to run all the way and sprint down and figure that out. Like that's
I mean, yes, but you also have to think she was also fighting being possessed as well.
yeah.
And so I think like that might have taken a few moments for her to like try to like take back over her mind, and that's why she ended up leaving. However, I not necessarily that part. I was fond of how they actually ended it, like where she sat down and it looked like the hand, but it was like opening it up for a second movie completely, and it was
Voila. Melissa.
chef's kiss.
Since you are chef's kissing over there, that's a mouthful right there.
Since you are chef's kissing.
Yes.
Thank you for the look, Bitsy.
What is your grade?
I think I will give it an 8.5. I don't know what they could have done to improve it, if I'm being honest. But yeah.
That's fair. I would say probably like that 8 range. I'd say the same kind of idea of there's not too much they could have done to improve it besides I think build on it's pretty similar, at least in my mind, to kind of what we had said about Ma. And I don't know if this is just a style of movies now of like you have to do this kind of thing. It just felt like so much of like a compilation or just like them. We have to see the hand and all the different like. I felt like half of the movie, especially in the beginning of them, just like playing around with the hand, where it could have been. I feel like spaced out. Like we could have gotten that in like one of those like times. It didn't have to be like multiple times where they would be at it was like 2 different party situations where if not 3 where they were playing with the hand and like you saw a bunch of them, and it's like you could have done with one of those and I feel like cut it out and maybe like condensed it down so that you could get to where you need to get to a little bit more. Also would have liked to see some of the other ones get messed with a little bit more, like the 2 dudes, like hypothetically the 2 ones that had the hand should have been like almost that shit at this point.
Yeah.
They've done a lot at this point, and they did not seem like they had any effects whatsoever.
But the difference is that she kept doing it off the time. Like she was doing it more than the timer.
Yeah, the longer the timer goes, I know it does seem to affect it as well, but it also seems like how many times you do it seems to affect it. But it also seems like the trauma that you have been through makes it different as well for different people. Like the difference of like what you've gone through makes it, like I said, the ghost kind of curtails it eventually once it gets to know you to like what it is. Or sometimes like right off the rip, it gets to know you right off. I mean, like the one Daniel, like the boyfriend getting weird right off rip with it. Like that's, he knew the ghosts know him right off rip of what they need to do to get to him. So it's, I think maybe it's weaker minds or whatever you want to call it, being like they are able to get to them a little bit easier. So I don't know.
Perhaps.
Just 'tis a theory. Perhaps.
But think about it this way. If you tapped into fucking with more people, would it end up being like a Moss situation or then you have too many storylines and that it becomes too chaotic.
I could see that as well.
Because in a theory, it technically did affect more than her. It affected the brother too, because even after he had the big mishap, or like when he was hitting himself, he was then banging his head against the bathroom tile wall in the hospital.
Yeah.
So like it was still fucking with him. Like it still had its ties on him, and I think honestly they did a very good job of keeping it minimal and in the best that they could without like it being too simplistic.
I get that. This is also from the A24 group. They've had a lot of good movies coming out lately, so it should be interesting to see as far as where they go with the second one. The second one looks like the release date is supposed to be August 17th this year. So
okay, all right,
got a couple months before that comes out. So check that out. Obviously we'll see how correlates relating to this, what they're going to do differently, how they're going to add on to it, see if they can add on to it better, or see if it kind of goes down a different path. But with that being said, pitch yourself on who you are and what you do.
I don't do much. No, I'm kidding. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on TikTok at the handle below Toodles0720, or you can find me on Twitch live now at XOKitten97XO. Up to you.
And you can find me at the SOS Rampages down there. You can see it on the videos on the side. Check out all the gaming videos, all the wrestling content, all the different things and stuff and all that. Check out Twitch where we're doing this stuff live. Check out the TikTok, the X, and all that good stuff. And we're going to cut that one right here. So it sounds gooey.
Bobby tried to do it too. Did you see that?
I saw. It's impressive. All right, let's find intermission video. Intermission video that won't get me flagged on YouTube. Oh yeah. Let's see.
Did you want to try collab stream or not?
I feel like it's not worth it because I don't want to mess with like the lag because it does lag a little bit.
That's fine. Just double check.
I wish maybe on the next one I might try, but I don't want to deal with the lag as well as I want the comments to be able to show up on both, so I can pull it on screen and stuff.
Yeah, I wish that because I wish I could attach mine to it here.
Well, that's why I said if we did the co-stream, I could do that, but it's
no. I know that during the co-stream it would work, but I'm saying I feel like because I'm logged in, I should be able to attach my shit as well.
Right.
That's all.
Copyright background music. Let's go with that. That's always fun. Everybody likes that. That's a cool little thing to put in the background.
Oh, hell
also
yeah.
Also gives you a chance to take a break if you need to.
I probably should bring Gus on. But I'm going to watch the trailer. That was a mouthful. I want to watch the Traitors trailer.
Ooh.
For season 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little better.
It's not supposed to be so bad.
Oh, Mama Kelsey's gonna be on it.
I'm going off the stage, so if you'd like to stay on stage and entertain the people, you can. But I'm That's why I put this up here.
I don't know. How do you go off stage? Stop cam?
You want me to remove you?
Sure.
Woohoo!
That's big of me. Thank you. That's way too big.
That's too big of you. You don't like that. That's all, folks.
Thankfully, my stream missed that because I didn't change my titles, my screen back. But
All right, that's the one you lead. You got it. You got it. The first three. You know all about
that. That's all, folks. Why is it? What's going on with this order here?
I just picked a picture that had all 5.
I don't like it's backward. It's all over. I guess it's clockwise.
It's out of order.
It's clockwise. It makes sense now that I see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a clock. So
yeah, time. It makes sense.
Tick.
Clock.
All right, this one's gonna be a little bit more winging it.
Great.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's great. Winging it's fine for you. You're just in your seat. I don't want to hear it. The host winging it is. I'm just calling it in the ring. It's fine.
Why are you winging it? You're just asking questions and answering the questions.
That's what I'm saying. But I don't have a set besides the order of how you'd rank them, deaths.
Oh, I just figured we were doing the same thing.
But
I guess
how was it? What would you compare it to?
Oh.
Yeah. Aesthetics are all kind of different.
Yeah, that's fair. The order would go 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. I think. Maybe.
You think?
I don't know. The first 3 are good. The first 2 are the best.
Just your random noises over there.
I merely read the future.
Well.
What?
Okay. Hello? You ready?
Let's go. Let's go so we can go pew pew. Let's go so we can go pew pew.
Yeah. Pew 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 pew. What's up, everybody? This is SOS Rampages continuing our live recording of our Friday the 13th spooky marathon of reviews and things that we have watched lately, trying to do stuff a little bit differently. This is our, speaking of a little bit differently, this is something that, let us know in the comments how you feel about this. This is our first real series we are touching on. If y'all want us to do different series like this, if y'all want us to touch on each individual movie for itself, we can do that as well. It's really up to y'all. Let us know. If y'all hate it, just let us know you hate it, and we'll go somewhere else. We'll go fuck off. It's fine too.
Can you make your voice any higher pitched?
I can. If we're trying to get Evil Mickey up in here, I'll get Evil Mickey up in here, but this isn't quite the place or time for that. My name is SOS Rampages. You've heard Evil Mickey if you've watched things on my channel at certain points in time, and it's all up on these, things on over here. And then we have Miss ADHD Queen down below me.
You're both being rude. Doe's being rude. You're being rude.
Who are you and why are you here?
That's a good frigid questions. My name is Toodles or Kitten XO Kitten 97XO on Twitch, or handle down below on TikTok, and we are here to review some movies. Oh, you said it. Never mind.
Yeah, this is the
series.
Okay.
Yeah, movies. I said movies.
But also, he's going to get even worse, I'm sure, when Yellow Jackets comes on. So that's why I got to make sure to have notes and stuff like that, because he's
great.
Be sassy pants over there about it. But before
take it elsewhere.
Before we get to that, we're going to talk over some Final Destination as far as this is concerned. Just doing it a little bit differently, obviously, because it's a series and not a movie. So what was your first exposure to the series itself? Where, when, why?
Way too young.
As all of us,
Yeah, I don't remember when, but I know it was at a very impressionable age, and some of those scenes, especially in the first two movies, have locked and triggered something. You go down a highway and you stop behind semi with logs. You're moving. You are moving.
If any semis that have anything on the back,
you are passing them.
I distinctly remember having the first one on VHS and the second one on VHS, and then having the second one was like one of our first DVDs we had.
Fancy.
Big deal, fancy schmanciness. And once again, like you said, watched that first one way too many times as a youth. I mean, it came out in 2000. I was 6. Yeah. It was.
I don't think I watched it when it came out.
It wasn't like that, because obviously it was on VHS, so I was probably like 8, 9 when I watched it for the first time. And like I said, it was a lot of it, and the first one in particular had creepy scenes, but like not scary. Like Todd was a little when I was younger. I didn't really understand it fully as well like I do now, so that also probably would hit me differently.
I feel like it's gonna make sense to those that have seen them. The first movie had really cheesy ways of like death following the person it was after, whereas the movies progressively just got cheesier.
They got cheesier, but they got a more aggressive as well. Like cheesier, more gruesome and more violent. Whereas like the scariest / like most violent one in this one would probably be like the teacher. Like that was, as far as like there was a lot to that, as far as like taking it to the neck and then the
everything like falling on her, then the house exploding, and it just
as far as, and this is where you can, 2 different segments of this kind of question. The actors / actresses in the series that stuck out for you the most, and then the group as a whole, like who stuck out for you. Or they all kill fodder.
Clear. We love Clear.
Clear,
That's really the only one. I mean, and what the fudge is his name? Sean William
Sean
Scott.
William Scott.
Yeah.
He's it's something about his character that reminds me of
you
the
love
dudes
to
from
hate him.
Aliens. Like, we got to get out of here, man. Like, he's in the moment. He knows he's not supposed to. Like, this is bad. Everything's bad. This is dumb, and just he's trying to tell everybody in the most whiny way possible. And when you whine as a male, especially, people don't listen to you. My guy, I'm just saying, like. That's why Carter, every time he would just look at him and just be like, shut up.
Bro.
Like, I'm no
Crying wolf over here, yeah.
It's almost like, and I hate to say this, and I don't really mean to disparage any of the good work that any of them did do. Shout out to Mickey in the third one. He was cool. I liked him. He was an interesting character as far as like he had a lot of depth and stuff going on there. A lot of these, especially, and this goes more of like the group as a cast, a lot of these are kind of canon random kill fodder that, especially once we hit 3 and onward, were kind of unlikable. And I didn't mind seeing them die.
I think after the third movie, for me personally, I just had a hard time like having connection to the characters. Like I didn't care. Like I was able to follow the story. I knew like what was going on, but like I just didn't care enough about the character to see them survive. Like, or the first, especially the first 2 specifically, like you're just really rooting for them to beat it, that they don't like that skips them. They figure a way around it, where I feel like you kind of start losing that in the third one.
You lose hope at the third one of like they're not going to make it. Like the second one really did a good job of like being brutal to the point of like letting everyone know, between letting everybody know that man's first make it, like making sure no, man's got hit with a brick, he not gonna make it. What they did to Clear, like they made sure to let, like, even to the point of like that last like end credit scene of man's exploding. Oh yeah, no, I got saved by man's. I was supposed to get run over by the car, and just explodes from the gas grill. It's like,
the one that sticks out to me in the second one, with you saying like they think like proving that they're not going to make it out, was when he gets out of the apartment and slips on the spaghetti that he threw out the window and ladder right through. Yeah.
As far as like, do you have any sort of, and this is, I have this as a base as a question, but it's more of, I guess, a statement, because I don't think there's many questions of it. As far as the music and scenery and everything, it's like, this is all just 2000s grunge rock place. Here. Like, I can't remember anything in particular.
I think 3 probably has the most popular songs, the most well-known songs.
Yeah.
But they all have. Also, like 4 has good songs. I had to think about like the racetrack and whatnot. Like that one had Shonda as the intro. Like they all have good songs, but
it's just all gets grouped into that 2000s rock.
Yeah, early 2000s. Yeah.
This is, and I guess this gets a little more personal than anything as far as that's concerned, but as far as the opening scenes, which one is, I guess we'll go with a couple different categories with it, of like believable, what is like the scariest kind of scenario for you, what is like, and what like has the most impact with you, as far as like you have the plane, highway.
I mean, number 2, yeah, the highway, like I think that definitely has the most impact on me mentally, just because like I stated earlier, as soon as I see anything like large in front of me on the back of anything, I'm just like, no, we're going around this. But then you have that question of like, am I defying my death right now? Like,
but it's also that idea of 3 is another one for me, where like roller coasters, man, and everybody's heard and seen a sketchy roller coaster of like, is that supposed to make that noise? Is that supposed to clink like that? But I mean, I've never personally been on. I've heard the horror stories of people being stuck on roller coasters.
Oh, you've never
The
been on a
panic-
roller coaster?
I've been on one. I've never been stuck on a roller coaster.
Oh, okay.
I've heard of people being stuck on a roller coaster.
Okay.
And I will tell you right now, the utter panic attack that I will have the minute that thing gets stuck, I think I might have a heart attack. I genuinely think I might have a heart attack at that very moment. Of no matter, we could be at the starting line and like little bits here, and like I could get out and go that way, but nope, no.
We're done for today.
We're done for today because it's that idea of like, oh, so yeah, it's stuck right here. It's gonna be final destination and just go 90 miles an hour out of nowhere, that way,
off the track.
Exactly. So like but 2 is also a big one because that is the one that you see every day. So that makes it, and you live through that the most. So like that is the most common as far as that's concerned. I don't go to a racetrack very often.
Oh yeah, I don't go to a racetrack very often.
5, I don't go that over that many bridges. It's always sketchy going over a bridge. Don't get me wrong.
Like, how often do you hear in the news like a bridge falling or things like that? You know what I mean? Like you don't hear that often. Whereas 1 recently, like there's been a lot more plane like crashes that are being announced and whatnot. So like 1 is kind of coming back up there.
This is something I can go to at least off of with 1 and why I think it's not as high up there for most people as far as at least the beginning scene is. Because you have to think of the time being the early 2000s and them not having the ability to do what they did later on. The deaths in 1 in that beginning scene are very tame / they're just people flying out the side. Like you're not getting extra like death sequence. In 2 onward, you get death sequences in each individual person, as opposed to 1. It's just kind of a big just explosion of just accepting of like everybody got or got blown out the side. Like it wasn't like everybody got individual deaths almost.
So hear me out. Final Destination came out in 2000.
Mm-hmm. Destination 2 only came out in like 2002, 2003. It wasn't long after, I know.
Right. So I think maybe that it was ahead of its time. So hear me out. If it came out in 2002, after 9/11 happened,
yeah,
I think that could have had a lot more impact on people.
I could see that. No, I could definitely see that being the case as well. I just, like I said, that's where I guess leave it off as far as like the beginning being that kind of different of like, and I don't know if that's also a studio choice at the end of the day of doing that different direction into of showing the individual deaths as they go off in the beginning. But it definitely makes a difference for me. Like I would have liked to see, even if it's the subtleties of like them hitting a plane wing or like them, smacking their head or like just the differences of how each individual died that was supposed to make it out, because it also sets their character arc in a way for me. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes more sense in the order that they die if it was able to like pinpoint on like how they died on the plane. Like as but
that was also the mystery of the first one. That was like, we didn't know that was a thing. We didn't know we were necessarily looking for specific people.
But it was, okay, so hear me out. I feel like that would have been like a good storytelling, because in the first movie they do start saying like, okay, it's going in order of how people died. They pulled up like the seats, who was in each seat, and then like, okay, well, I switched with this person. So like they figured out that it was going in order of how like the explosion happened. So, or like how when they died in the explosion, whatever. But like they could have still told the story of how each person died and made it more personable to each person. Like how you said, like this person would hit the wing or like got sucked in by the jet, or you could have had like two people at the end die. You don't know who was gonna die. It would be the last person to die. And like it may not have made sense at the time of us watching it for the first time, but then they like do the order of like the reveal of, hey, it goes in order, and you could be like, oh yeah, I remember this person died this way, and I think that was the third death. You know what I mean? So I think if they had done it, it would have been really good storytelling, and it would have been it would have been foreshadowing as the writer, but it would have been a nice reveal as a viewer later in the movie.
Going into the deaths, obviously, because that is what all of these are about. As the fun, quirky ways and corny, corny, gruesome ways that we can kill people. Two different segments of this. Give me the movie that has the most overall as far as like the kills that stick with you from one movie, and then you can give me top 3 from you can pick from whatever movie that you would like.
From top 3 movies or top 3 deaths?
Top 3 deaths that you can pick, and then you pick one movie overall that's like the group of deaths in this movie is like that's the one. Like that.
Okay. I think one of like the deaths that like affected me for the longest time was in 3 when the girls were tanning. I did not touch a tanning bed until I was like 19.
Very, very interesting. We've gone over that when we were watching that. I mean, just young male me that was not a scary scene for me.
You're like there was deaths.
There people died in that scene. I definitely watched that back for other reasons that we don't want to talk about that. That's fine.
Too fake for me.
It's fine,
yeah. Yeah, but I definitely I know that it's a movie. It's very unlikely to happen. I get it, but like I didn't touch a tanning bed for the longest time, and when I did, I was not unsupervised. Like I made sure that someone was out of the tanning bed and could get me out of time. So I guess that's what I don't know if I have a particular order.
It doesn't have to be in actual order
now. The lady getting LASIK was a wild one. Yeah, I agree. That made me squirm. I don't know if it's like top 3 worthy though.
That's up there.
Okay, top 3 is in like favorites or just like most
just
memorable.
Stick to you, okay. Memorable, whatever. Yeah.
The second one with the spaghetti and the ladder. Just because he's a jackass and he deserved it. And he thought
he was gonna make it.
He thought he made it. And oh gosh. Probably the first one. I'm horrible with the names in these movies. Besides Claire, obviously.
Tell me the name of the death.
I think it's like one of the first deaths after the intro where he's in the bathroom and you have like the toilet fluid that's like following him, and then he gets the wire wrapped around his neck. Yeah, that one was rough, but I think it was rough because it was like the first real death. Like that was the introduction that set the tone for the whole series. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that those are pretty solid top 3s.
That one also just had that idea, and I'm sure they did it in movies beforehand. But as a young person, the idea of them leaning into it being suicide was definitely a interesting. Like, this is what we're doing.
I mean, and if you think about it, though, like all of the ways that they died are supposed to look intentional, like that they did it to themselves to a degree or pinpoint it on somebody else.
Or just happens circumstance of like something falling or whatever. Like
I guess. Yeah, like the dentist office and
right.
Yeah.
And then movie with the most as far as like what is your overall like this is the one.
I probably 2. Claire's a badass and as she takes charge after she gets out of. I think the intro is the best of all of them. Of the first 5, I can't say of all of them. I haven't seen Bloodlines, but I think the intro is the best. It's definitely the one that has stuck with me the most. I think that I don't think I mentioned this earlier. I think that group is probably the most diverse and unlikely to work together, and that's why it's so good.
Right.
Like it's making them try and I don't know. I think too.
Okay.
Honorable mention: the dentist scene.
That's a rough one.
Not when her and her son get smashed. It's before that, when all the shit goes south.
Yes, basically every one of your fears of the dentist, and then the actual thing that kills them is not what you're afraid of. But like everything else leading up to that, yes.
Again, they think they made it.
They did not make it. As far as for me, I give because we have not done any over there. Shout out to 5. That acupuncture, no, ma'am, no.
Oh yeah.
Because that's why I don't do acupuncture. I don't want to roll over and I don't want to get got. That's no. Because like I think he should have been dead on that. Like that screw Buddha getting that man just got spiked with like all.
Yeah, that was like the teachers all over again, because you think he'd be done with the needles, and then you think it would be the flames, and the flames just stop right before him, and then he's like going to stand up, and then he pulls something. Buddha's just like pop.
I'm going to. No, that's not fair. I was going to group 2 together. For me, there's something to, and I know some of it's campy, and some of it is probably. There's something to be said about funny to their deaths a little bit. So I'm gonna put them together though, because I do think of another one.
Okay.
As far as like the first one I'm gonna go over isn't the campy one. The other one was the nail gun to the one.
Oh, number 3.
Yeah, number 3.
Mm-hmm.
That was rough, and especially not just rough, but rough watching Mickey's face as it's happening. It's kind of like that sets off of like you knew once you saw his face reacting to it, you're like, oh, man's gonna go AWOL, and
he's like, I'm dead already. What the fuck does it matter what I do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So going back to the funny, in 3, there was a funny moment, at least to me, of when Mans is at the gym, getting all pumped up. They're all at the, I just win, Kevin. I just win. Boom. I just win. It's like,
yeah, you won.
Setup. I was like, that's a funny setup.
But that's another one where you anticipated the swords dropping down and decapitating him, but in reality, it was getting smushed.
That
like a bugger.
Call back to, like I said, my hero from the first one. Mr. Sean William Scott, of him yelling at Carter, "You're dead! You're dead! You're dead! You're dead!" And it's like, and I think he said like something beforehand. One of them was just like, "Nah, I got fine." And she's like, "Well, then who's next?" And it's like, there's something to be said about like the timing and just.
It's like almost breaking the fourth wall, but not quite.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a Scream person. This is my realm. I like the fact that they do that a little bit, but not too much. Kind of.
You like campy.
Campy can be fun at times. What is your overall? Give me your top 5. Yeah, I mean you can go from 5 down.
Like my favorite in order.
Your least favorite to your best.
Oh, 5, 4, 3, 1, 2.
Okay. Anything you want to say about why 5 sits where it does, where 2 sits where they sit where they sit?
I've explained 2.
Yes. Why did 5 not do it for you?
I just had like I said, I had a hard time connecting with 4 and 5. Like 3 is where I really started kind of growing apart from like building like a bond with these characters, like an attachment. There we go, an attachment to characters. 4 and 5, no. They're just like they're okay to watch. They're not my favorites. I don't know. I feel like it's rushed or just not as thought out as the first 3. I don't know.
Okay. And I mean, that's how a lot of horror movies and horror series work.
Especially when you have multitudes of the same thing essentially.
Right. I think I would just flip it a little bit around, and I would probably go 4, 5, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
So I have to give it to where it started it all, and that idea of it still had that mystery aspect to it a little bit, and that anticipation and that like hope of survival, and like you don't know who all is going to survive and how they're going to survive, and it had that aspect, especially after Carter survives that first time, of like, oh, so it is possible people do survive and they come back around and you have to deal with that, but like it's possible to survive it. You're not just automatically on the kill list and being dead.
I mean, yes. Why is the giveaway not working? That's the question. That is the question.
It is the question. Anything else you want to say to wrap up the series?
I am excited to see how they wrap up the series. With Bloodlines. I know that's supposed to give like a roundup of like they're just supposed to close it up, so it's not supposed to be open-ended and kill everybody off and how it started, right? Where it all started.
Yeah.
So I don't have high hopes for it. I have heard that it's done well.
I've seen good reviews. Yeah.
But I don't have high hopes for it because of 4 and 5.
Okay. I want to believe that if they're going to take a final shot at it, they're going to take a final shot at it. And
when did 5 come out?
A while ago. I also have this idea in my head, and this is also something that shows a lot in the end cutscenes and how they've put things together, even in 4 and 5. It's like that the continuity they've been able to keep up with, and I think trying to wrap it up as much as possible. You know, I don't know. I have faith that they'll be able to do it, but it might get convoluted in the middle. But that's one thing that they've stuck through with all the movies is that continuity aspect of being able to wrap it in somehow where it's not all that unbelievable.
I do love the fact that they are all interwoven together. Sorry, he put that in my chat too, and that's what I was laughing about.
That's a quote.
Oh. Okay. Still funny. I do like how well they have woven all of the movies together, that they are, you know, because you sat, it's like it's the butterfly effect in a sense, you know, because you sat here next to this person, because you survived this, you are now paying for it with this for this death, you know what I mean, with this death or whatever.
Right. Let people know where they can find you and all that good stuff.
I am live on Twitch at XOKitten97XO, and I am not live on TikTok, but you can find me on TikTok with this handle down below, Table0720. Eventually it'll probably just be flowing, but it'll be fine.
And you can catch me live on Twitch with that SOS Rampages handle. You can check me at the other places, the other videos on on Twitch, on TikTok, on X, on all that good stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, Doe_life on TikTok. I know that's gonna hit you, because that's a personal thing.
I'm gonna sue that child.
Just to put that out there, Doe's live on TikTok. You got somebody coming for you. But yeah, no, we're gonna wrap this one up. And yeah, this one was a long one, and we gotta still do Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so to enter the giveaway, you have to follow me here on Twitch, follow me here on follow me on TikTok, and then join the SOS Discord server. And there is a giveaway bot underneath. What is the commands?
Yes.
Under the command section. Ooh, I can hear myself. Ooh. Under the command section, you just go into the giveaway and hit. Yeah, it's just a bot. It's easy. Go do it. Free shit.
Easy. Free shit is good.
I don't know why my giveaway is not working. That was the issue.
All right. I was thinking about putting you on blast and doing it like when we go live, but I feel like you wouldn't want that anyway. Give me names.
Oh, fuck that. Oh, fuck that. You can sit your ass down right now.
You can't give me like a couple.
Yeah, sure. Give me one moment.
You can't off the top of your head. What about the main chick? You can't give me the main chick?
Nat.
Nat, yeah, okay.
I gave you one.
You can't. Which one's Van?
Van's the crazy one. Van's Christina Ricci.
No. Misty is the crazy one.
So you don't even know their fucking names either.
Van is the redhead that was in the fire.
Oh, that was in Santa Clarita Diet.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
What about like the main chick that's like got the daughter?
The main chick that's got the daughter. Oh, the one that's from 2.5 Men.
Yes.
Her name's Rose in 2.5 Men.
Shauna.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Taisha.
Ty,
yeah.
that's the one that broke Homegirl's leg.
That's the one that broke Homegirl's leg.
That doesn't matter because she's not part of the team. Duh.
Lottie's the one that was taking the pills. Is a little loopy. We haven't figured out why Lottie's loopy yet, but she's a little loopy.
L-O-L-O. Lottie. Loopy.
Trying to think of anybody else off the top of my head that was like prevalent. Hashtag fuck Lottie.
Damn, son.
Lorelai. That's the religious girl. The one
that's not her name, Lorelai. What do they call her?
But not like that. Yeah, not like that. Like, but like, the coach, obviously, one-legged coach. You remember the boy's name? The two boys? The brothers? The one Nat says all the time in the second episode. It's like her whole storyline. Travis.
Okay, that's great.
Great, awesome.
I'm glad they have names. I'm so proud for them. However,
and then Javi is his brother.
That okay? I'm sure it is.
I'm sure. I believe you. I'm sure it is.
You could tell me his name was Penelope, and I would believe you.
I mean, the other ones aren't that prevalent yet. Like the daughter, Callie. Ooh, what about homeboy? What about the husband? No. Do you know what happened?
Ryan? I know what happened. Yeah.
I guess that's
Listen, we just talked about Final Destination, and not once was I able to. I gave you one fucking name. Guess what? I gave you Nat. Here we are.
You did give me, and Nat was not the one I thought you were going to name off the rip.
Could I tell you which one in this lineup was Nat? If she's even in... Oh, wait. Nat's the far... No, that's Shauna on the far right. Okay. She got Shauna, Ty. Nat's the blonde. Nat comes back as the one that was in Ma.
Mm-hmm. Good job.
See? Mm-hmm.
You pay attention sometimes. You know.
We got Loopy Lottie in the back, and the gray in the middle, behind the fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Lorelai, the blonde, all the way to the left, the religious one. Savannah's not here.
What about Shauna's best friend?
Are you looking up the cast?
I'm looking at it right now, yeah, so we know.
Okay. Well, you don't know either, so...
I didn't, but like I know why I don't know her.
Shauna's best friend, the
Like
one
the captain.
she's from Fallout.
Jackie.
Jackie. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
And it is Misty, okay. Then Coach.
Scott.
Jeff is the husband.
Scott. Coach Scott
Yes, Coach Scott.
is the one-legged coach that Misty went crazy on.
I mean, we got everybody that we're gonna need.
All right, great. Now that you're done torturing me, hey, look, there's the giveaway stuff.
It's gonna be a review, but I didn't want to just go out there on these episodes and be like, yeah, you know who this is, and she's not gonna know any of the names. But I also struggle with the names too, so that's why I said I
Why
need.
are you putting me on blast? Why are you making me feel bad?
Because you were not even close on a lot of them.
How can you say I was not even close when I gave you a correct name and then I didn't give you any other names?
All right.
Make it make sense.
Are you ready?
No,
Make
I
it
need
make
to turn
sense.
my volume. I'm gonna turn my volume down.
You don't want to be blasted in your earbuds.
No, I don't want to get blasted. He was blasting.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. What's up, everyone? This is SOS Rampage is coming at you with our finale of our live recording on our Friday the 13th Spooky Friday marathon of reviews and such and things. Yeah. You can tell it's the last one at this point because you refuse on. You can tell it's the last one at this point. But this is our first one of reviewing the show Yellow Jackets. So we're going to be going over episodes 1 and 2 and wrapping them up and giving our little feedback on how we feel of things. This is my kind of second time watching. I hadn't watched in a while, so I kind of had to touch base on a lot of things. And then this is the one down here's first time watching as she describes who she is and why she is here and what she does.
Yeah, I stream on Twitch at XOK97XO, and you can find me on TikTok at my handle below. It's Toodles0720. And yeah, we are here to review Yellow Jackets.
And yeah, we are both live on Twitch right now, so we also have comments going out through the chat. So who we are also talking to and having side conversations with as well. If you want to check us out, you can do that at those hands.
It's just the voices.
Yes, all them voices in our head, just like all these girls have, basically, at this point. I mean, I would assume, after being out there for months at a time, voices in the head are definitely, and all the illusions and all the things that they don't really talk about with, the wooded people and the woodland, all
There's
that scary background where it's just like, I'm assuming some people are hearing some voices to be doing all that at that point. Like, you don't just do that just because. Those type of voices, yes, those type of voices could possibly be out there, like the trees are whispering and those kind of yes. But with that being said, how did you feel about it overall? How did you feel about the first 2 episodes?
It definitely is interesting. I haven't seen anything like this personally, but I've been enjoying it so far.
I put it back to, and it's pretty close to, if anybody's ever seen it, and I really liked it as a kid, the movie Alive, like the team that got stuck in the Andes Mountains. It's very similar to that, but obviously they put a different twist on it as a show. It's not real life, where that was what happened in real life, but they're able to manipulate it a little bit here, where it's got that same aspect of also adding a Lord of the Flies aspect on it, adding like the different personalities and different things like that, where it makes it a little bit better. But that's where
survival of the fittest.
Yes, kind of idea. Who really has stuck out to you early on as far as like the is either the late versions of them or the early versions of them? Who are your go-to girls right now?
None of them. They're all friggin' crazy. But I think
Why are they all
Christina,
friggin' crazy? What they do?
they're gonna be crazy. Watch.
Okay, so you
I
just don't you're putting all the black X on all of them because you don't know which ones are in those masks. You don't know who's doing what. So I'm not gonna start
exactly.
liking any of
I know
y'all
for
until I understand.
I know for darn sure that our girl, what, Misty, Christina Ricci's
Yeah,
character,
Misty
Misty.
up in there. I mean, that was a reveal. So like, yes,
That was a
that's
reveal,
100%.
so that's a big nah. I'm good. You can stay over there, homegirl. And the only one that really makes a memory is Nat. So.
And what's stuck up with Nat is it the she don't give a fuck about nobody attitude.
Mm. It's the delinquents. Like she's the black sheep. She doesn't care. She's gonna be herself regardless, and I like that about the people.
It definitely is. The first episode is very much a building episode. I mean, the first two are very much so building episodes, but it was very much so building the arc around kind of getting us to know all of the characters and how they're getting to where they got to. I mean, as someone that's played sports in high school and different things like that and watched sports, that slide tackle scene is just you feel that in your core. You feel that it's just everywhere. You're just like,
and it was at that moment I was grateful I didn't play soccer in school.
like, and that's the one, and I know this about like especially female
They're
women's soccer.
aggressive.
They are aggressive AF, especially when it's competitive like that, and they are at the top level of like that stuff happens all the time. Where a slide tackle, I'm gonna twist up your ankle. I'm gonna.
Oh no, that girl had her bone out her shin.
Like it's more prevalent than you think. Looking back at how the scene transpired and everything and how she is and how that she's been portrayed right now, do you think Ty did it on purpose or do you think it was too much? Do you think she meant to injure her or do you think she meant to push her?
I don't think that she meant to injure her as severely as she did. I think she did mean to injure her as in like a twisted or sprained ankle, something.
100%. I don't think she meant minor. To have her bone popping out of her.
Yeah. I don't think it was meant to be that severe. So like I know that there was anger and animosity in the sense of like she wasn't pulling her weight and the team's about to go to nationals, I think it was, right?
Yeah. Nationals.
And like you need to step up your game, but at the same token, I think she let her anger get the better of her and she didn't realize just how forceful she was.
100% at the moment because she had like beaten her for a second, but it's that idea of, and this is where like why the women in the locker room acted the way that they acted after like you can't, especially when you're in practice or just even in a game, the minute that you do a move like a cut block or a slide tackle, the intent is to take that person out. There's no way to push a certain person. There's no way to like try to make them better by doing that. Like, yeah, I mean, we didn't practice cut blocks on each other because like you're going to take someone out doing it. It's like you don't do that. And that's,
it's you can't do it in the NFL now, right?
No, you're not supposed to. Yeah. It's illegal. So it's that idea of it's when you aim for somebody's knees,
below the knees. Yeah, you're
automatically going to ask for something bad to happen.
Yeah. Who are your call out girls?
As far as right now, I mean, I'm very much so leaning into Shauna right now, and it's more of adult Shauna because I think it's just very much so real life. I feel like a lot of it's very real. Her As weird as it probably is, her doing, her thing with herself to like the thought of the younger, yes, because
The
she's,
younger years.
yeah, like that's
hit back to Ma again.
and like her having, I think she was like cleaning like shit stains out of man's like drawers. Like that's like it felt like a real like her daughter not taking the chunk roast out, like and just being an asshole the entire time. Like
Being a teenager.
Being an asshole teenager the entire time. It just felt very real, and it felt like a good mix of like what was before, as well as like her character. Her child character seemed very confused, so it's got a lot of depth and a lot of different things going on with it of like that. And I think there's a lot more to be said and goes into more of like how did that whole thing with Jeff transpire? Like, was it, how often were they cheating beforehand? Why did it happen? Like, there's a lot of that kind of idea of like, that doesn't make her look great in that aspect. So
yeah, especially right before takeoff, they ask if they have any reasoning or like sins or whatever that they want to put out. Yeah.
And she can't answer her best friend when her best friend asks that, as well as her best friend like giving her like, "You're the best friend I've ever had." And
you've always had my back. You've always been the only one to have my back. And it's like, girl, she's got your man's front too.
So that's where I said I guess it would be Shauna. And I also like Ty's character is, I as well as Van, like I like the honesty.
Ty as an adult. Yeah.
I like the brutal honesty that they both kind of have, which is nice. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Van's funny.
I do love that. Like the entire time as she like is supposed to, they thought she was gonna get exploded, and the entire time she's fucking with them. Like she cannot stop fucking with them with it about it.
I don't think she's fucking with them. She's pissed.
She's pissed, but it's like that idea of like the joking way of like getting her anger out almost of kind of like
I don't know if she's joking.
But it's like that 50-50. Like, what else are you going to do besides be like that? Like, that's kind of like, that's your way of getting back at it, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess you're on fire tonight, too. Thought I was the only one.
As far as where do you think things are kind of, do you see anything going forward as far as like, can predict some things going on? What do you think, because you haven't seen it before? What are you kind of feeling that might be coming down the line?
I don't know. I feel like we're obviously going to get more backstory as far as like, I want to say like Shauna and Jeff's relationship, how that transpired. Obviously we're going to have to, we gotta figure it out, we gotta there's a trailer, there's a cabin, we gotta get to a cabin. That's all I know.
Gotta get to a cabin at some point.
Then we're gonna have cabin in the woods moment. It's fine. I really don't know where it's gonna go, because like in the like their present day selves, you have the dramatics of someone possibly leaking. You have that reporter that's that's technically not a reporter, but she's like representing herself as a reporter. She's introducing herself as a reporter. That's like trying to ask questions and get interviews, which that's very sussy to me. I have my suspicions on that, but and like, so then you're trying to figure out, okay, well, who's still alive? Because it hasn't shown that. You obviously know that Shauna's alive. You know that Ty's alive, and Nat. And those are the only three that are completely confirmed. They've mentioned others.
And Misty.
And Misty. Yeah, you're right, sorry. They've mentioned others, as in the sense of, like, the others wouldn't do that. But they didn't, like...
Say who.
They haven't mentioned any other names. So that's I think that's gonna be a big reveal. I think the reporter's gonna be somebody personally.
You think it's gonna be somebody from the group?
Yeah, but we'll see.
That's fair. As far as like any big scenes stick out to you from those first 2 episodes, as far as like what is like your one takeaways as far as like
Misty's a fucking she's crazy, but like
which part?
extremely helpful at the same time. Besides the fact that she's running around in a goddamn mask, the fact that she just like blank stare took man's leg off, and then they're all sitting around the fire, and then all of a sudden she just gets up and walks over and cauterizes his leg, which like it's the smart thing to do, don't get me wrong, but like what just like snapped in your head where you're like sitting around the fire with all your teammates, or not really teammates because you're like the water.
I mean, what else do you?
Well, she's not really a teammate. She's like the water boy, basically.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I get that she saved his life. I get like she was super helpful, but like wow.
And then she also destroyed the emergency transmit box.
Oh yeah, the beacon. Yeah. So that was some sus behavior.
She wants to feel important. She feels important right now.
And then another scene that has stuck out to me is when it's older Ty, it's when she's talking to her son in his bedroom, and she opens the window and she sees all of the like super weird drawings to cover the window, and she's like, what is this? Like, and he's like, I'm doing it so the people on the person on the tree can't see me. That what?
And they're getting those random signs sent to them, those random tree signs sent to them. It's
Well, to be fair, a lot of them are probably just chalking it up to be Misty. Like how Nat did when she visited her. Thought. Yeah, when Misty was about to get lucky. Not really get lucky, but about to...
she was trying. She was forcing a man to...
Yeah, she was forcibly gonna get lucky.
Against her will a little bit.
And she's like, you thought I got one too. Which she could have still sent it because she didn't prove she didn't prove otherwise. She just said that, well, the address on here or the post stamp on here or whatever was such and such. Like she just spit that out. You know what I mean? Like there was no way to prove it in that moment, and Nat just kind of like believed that, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
But any last thoughts about the first 2 episodes after that?
I know. I don't think so. I'm excited to see the next one.
Yeah. And we're excited to talk about the next one the next time we on. But yeah. And we are going to cut this one here. You tell them where you're at so we can go pew pew.
Pew pew. Yeah, you can catch us pew pewing live on Twitch. Too many T's. On Twitch at XOKitten97XO. And then you can catch me on TikTok at Toodles0720.
And you can catch me at the SOS Rampages handle on this YouTube side. Check all the videos out of the wrestling and all that good stuff, and gaming and yada, 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 all that good stuff. As well as check out the Twitch where we do the pew-pews. Check out the X. Check out the TikTok and all that good stuff. But with that being said, we're going to cut it right here. All right.
All right, I'll jump in Discord.